Well, welcome back everyone to another week where Sharky goes retro. We are back for another week of Pokemon Red. Let's get ourselves underway. We've got an action-packed night in store for this evening. I say that to try and hype things up a bit. You never know, we might actually catch something tonight. But we have things to discuss. Oh boy, we've got stuff to catch up on. We are down to 4. At the start of last week's stream, we had 5 Pokemon. Now we only have 4. Good old Edward, our starter, hanging in there, lowest level of the bunch now. And I mean, it's a case of beggars can't be choosers. But at this point, Edward's value has gone back up. We were poised to kind of slowly shuffle him out of the team, but he might be useful for at least a little while. It's hard to say. Popeye, currently now the MVP. Just the damage and defense and just general outright strength. Possessor of strength. And various fighting and normal type moves. Popeye doing a lot of great work. Hippo, who's grown up into a Seadra and is just doing solid water type damage. Nothing sort of to write home about, but she's pretty strong. Bubble Beam, Surf, she's doing a decent amount of damage where it counts. So she's just a solid damage dealer. Could do with being a bit sturdier perhaps, but she's doing okay. And then good old Dusty, the utility Pokemon, who's halfway to a HM slave. Dusty the Butterfree, our token Psychic type user with Psybeam. Sleep Powder though, to put to sleep anyone else we might try and catch. And then just Flash and Fly, so that we've got them on the main party. And that's it. There's no one else. Last session, we said goodbye to Dicey, who was with us for such a short amount of time. I mean, entirely my fault, but we had to say goodbye to Dicey. She fell foul to a self-destruct. Spoilers. She fell foul to a self-destruct from a Voltorb. Level 29 Voltorb, self-destructed, performing a critical hit, and took out Dicey. I did some of the stats. We're just gonna walk through all this grass on our way back here. I did some stats to kind of analyze things. Oh, here we are, our mortal enemy. Level 26 Voltorbs. I'm not even paying attention to who we've got out or anything. Let's just dispatch with him and then take a moment to sort of. Okay, here we go. Well, this is the test. This is the test. There you go. See. Alright, fine. It's totally fine. Yeah. So much to discuss. Look at that. That did 16 damage. Let's put someone up front. Let's start fighting trainers and let's just start chatting about things. Edward needs levels, but I'm not gonna give them to him. Dusty, Hippo, yeah, let's leave Popeye up front. Actually, no. Actually, I don't even know. I don't even know. Yes, let's give Popeye levels. Popeye's going to be the one that ends up taking on Koga or something. Or maybe it's going to be Hippo. I don't even know. Alright. Let's keep going. Let's talk. Ah dear, so much to discuss. Come on, tank another explosion. It'll be fine. I don't even remember what level you learned this at. But we're faster than you now, so doesn't matter. Yes, lots to discuss. So I ran the numbers and had a look into what happened last session. Maybe one day I'll do a full breakdown on stream. I'm dodging using fighting. Oh, it's because it's poison. That's why I'm dodging using fighting. Yeah, maybe one day I'll do a full breakdown on stream, and we'll have stats with Sharky. But suffice it to say, we got quite the fluke of damage calculations and things. It all stacked up just against us in just the right kind of way. Dicey was entirely the wrong Pokemon to send out to tank a self-destruct. Wild Blastoise appears. Dicey was completely the wrong Pokemon to send out to tank a self-destruct because Dicey has a ridiculously low attack and defense stat. So Dicey was always going to take the strongest amount of damage, the highest amount of damage from any explosion that anyone could take. So that was already a problem. Nice, Arcanines. So that was just bad play to start with. Yes, accepting the fact that the Dicey had the most HP by far, but you saw how much damage that self-destruct just did to Popeye. It was like negligible, whereas against Dicey, the first self-destruct that Dicey took did exactly 67 damage to it, which was quite a lot more than that one. But that was fine because Dicey had 202 HP at the time, and that took it down to 135. Wow, that's a high level magic card. Level 26. Don't see a lot of them. Without looking it up, I would guess self-destruct would hit special defense. Turns out it doesn't. It does just hit regular defense. Yeah. And as a result, it meant it did tons of damage to Dicey. And ooh, Petal Dance. Wow. Don't see that every day. Yeah, that was a big one. So it did tons of damage to Dicey. And the chance of doing a critical hit has some really weird mechanics in Gen 1. I don't know, it's not that it's programmed wrong, it's just it's programmed really weird. The chance of a Pokemon doing a critical hit in Gen 1 is a function of the Pokemon's speed. So Pokemon with a higher speed have a higher chance of doing critical hits, and lower speed, therefore lower chance of doing critical hits. Voltorb, like a lot of electric-type Pokemon, have really high speed. So Voltorb has a higher than normal chance, like sort of compared to the average Pokemon, of delivering a critical hit. I think the figures came out to be about a 1 in 6 chance for that level 29 Voltorb. Had something of a 1 in 6 chance of any of its hits being a critical hit. And once the hit went critical, we were almost guaranteed a wipe. The damage calculation formula factors critical hits in a way that I wasn't expecting. I thought a critical hit would just simply double the amount of damage that a Pokemon does. Unfortunately, it's slightly more complicated than that. One way to explain it is to say that when a Pokemon performs a critical hit, it effectively doubles the Pokemon's level during the damage calculation. It treats the Pokemon as though it's got twice the level it would have otherwise had. Which has an effect of almost doubling the damage it does, but it still becomes a function of level. So Pokemon that are like level 100 more or less do double damage on a crit, but Pokemon that are like level 20 or 30 do something like 1.6 times damage on a critical hit. Nice, execute. All that's to say, critical hits do different amount of damage to what I was expecting, and when it all boils down to it, we got a really... Ooh, look at that. We got a really unlucky dice roll. I think I'm going to swap, actually. Let's just throw Dusty in and just clean that up. Or not. Let's just throw... Hippo would be a really bad choice. Let's throw Edward in. Seeing as though Edward doesn't see a lot of battle these days. Go Splash. Yeah, there's a small dice roll associated with yeah, let's just go and heal. Let's just wake everyone up. There's a small dice roll associated with all damage that's dealt. You know, the damage calculation goes through, it factors in attack and defense and level and critical hits and all these kinds of things. And then there's a tiny dice roll that happens at the very end that just puts a little bit of random fluctuation on the damage just to keep the game interesting, so that not every move does the exact same amount of damage every turn. And as a result of that, because there's a little kind of probability distribution of what the damage rolls could look like, the very first self-destruct that Dicey received, the one that wasn't a critical hit, the one that did 67 damage, was one of the weakest possible self-destructs that could ever have happened. Its damage was in the bottom 10th percentile of all damage possibilities for that self-destruct under those conditions. So we may have been lulled into a false sense of security by just how low damage that first self-destruct did. It was not representative of the typical self-destruct. And then when the second self-destruct came around and it rolled as a critical hit, then all of a sudden the odds rapidly changed, and the minute the game had decided it was a critical hit, and that small random dice roll happened at the end to decide what part of the probability distribution it was going to pick the roll from, Dicey suddenly had a 40% chance of survival. 60% of all dice rolls with a critical hit would see Dicey faint. Only 40% of them would have kept Dicey with any HP left at the end. And unfortunately, we triggered that 60% that saw Dicey faint. So it was not a mathematical certainty, but the odds definitely were not in our favour. So that's the summary of where things were. I went over and over the numbers just to really kind of satisfy myself that there was no funny business going on. Learned a lot about how damage formula gets calculated in the game, things like that. And we've learnt our lesson now. Popeye is the one to tank the self-destructs, not Dicey. If we ever get a Snorlax will be able to tank the self-destruct because it's actually got some defense stat. Oh, speaking of, that's something else I've forgotten to mention. That was nearly another hypnosis. Self-destruct is a funny move. Just to make it even more OP, Self-destruct is one of the few moves in the game that has a clause built into it with the way that the damage formula is applied. And if the damage formula, when it's being calculated, if it identifies that the move being used is self-destruct, it halves the defending Pokemon's defense stat, just because self-destruct was used, which more or less has the rough effect of causing self-destruct to actually do double the damage it's advertised to do. So it's already a move that's significantly stronger than what it purports to be just by its raw damage calculation. So, yep, lots of fun stuff about self-destruct and things like that. So, what that means, and I looked some stuff up because Voltorb's not the only one with self-destruct, right? It's also coughing and wheezing, and therefore we could have a problem going up against Koga if any of the gym leaders in there decide to blow up their coughings and their wheezings. And from what I could see, looking it up, it's only Koga's final Pokemon that is high enough level to know the self-destruct, or the explosion, whichever one it is. It's his final wheezing at the very end. And based on the damage calculation, I did a little test run. And yeah, Popeye's got more than enough defense to actually tank a self-destruct from Koga's wheezing. So that should be fine. Also, Wild Noodle appears, so that's nice. We could always catch ourselves a Dratini, but that being said, why go for Dratini when we could just go back around to Pokemon Tower and catch ourselves his fully evolved cousin. What was the higher end of the damage on the first self-destruct? The self-destruct that we took did 67 damage, I think. and I believe the damage range was something like 66 to 78. It was literally one above the minimum, and there was something like about 12 damage in the range. Oops, of course poison type. What am I doing? So nothing exciting in this grass patch. Let's get out of here. So all that is to say, whoops, not you. We lost Dicey, and it was probably my fault. It was kind of a fluke, but at the same time, I should have anticipated a critical hit from a really fast Pokemon that had a higher than average chance of performing critical hits, you know, all that sort of stuff. So we live and learn, and we have to move on without Dicey, which means we have up to a maximum of 4 additional Pokemon we can recruit onto the team between now and the Elite Four. And we have options. I've taken a little bit of time to sort of think through some of the possibilities about what we could try adding to the team. And there's a couple of options, but the difficult part of all this is we can't add anyone to the team till we've defeated Koga, and then we get one more Pokemon. And then we can't even get a second one into the team until we've defeated Sabrina. And that's not going to be easy either. But after that, I'm going to claim it gets easier, because then we've just got Blaine, the Fire type, and Giovanni with all of his ground type, and Hippo will be able to wipe the floor with both of them. Water type's great against both of those. So they're not going to be problems. It's going to be Koga and Sabrina that are the problems, unfortunately. So we have to work our way through them. And Popeye gets paralyzed. And get ourselves sorted there. And then we can start adding Pokemon to the team. So, thinking through what Pokemon to add to the team. We've definitely got Snorlax. Absolutely, I'm certainly thinking that trans. Snorlax against Sabrina mightn't be a bad idea. In terms of the overall party composition, Snorlax would act now as a direct replacement of Edward. Edward is basically acting as our normal type Pokemon. So Snorlax would just basically sub him out. So that's a very definite possibility. How are we going for levels and stuff? Oh, Popeye just got paralyzed, didn't he? Oh dear. I'm not going to waste a full restore. Yeah, let's fly back. I know I'm wasting time flying back and stuff. Yes, Novak, Dicey. You'll have to... Yeah, Dicey rolled badly, unfortunately. You're going to have to catch up on that. If you don't want to watch the entire stream from last week, I did clip out the 60 seconds that mattered. Unfortunately, the entire event went for something more like 90 seconds, so I clipped the best 60 seconds I could. But yes, it has been immortalized now on the clips page of the channel. Our first and hopefully only fainted Pokemon in the Nuzlocke playthrough. So we will give serious consideration to catching Snorlax straight after we defeat Koga. That might give us some options going into Sabrina. Just because there's not a lot of good options against the Psychic type. We just need someone sturdy who can deal probably normal type damage against all the Pokemon with high special stats. So Snorlax would do that job for us. Otherwise, Edward would work. It's just that oh no, Edward would work. It's just that he's, you know, not exactly in the toughest of shapes. So Snorlax, very definite possibility, but there are loads of others for things to be thinking about for our final 4 Pokemon. We've actually been through kind of most of the game and most of the grassy areas at this point, so we have a pretty good idea of where a lot of the randomized Pokemon have ended up. One of the big things that is coming up pretty soon that's going to open up some other options is just up here, a little bit further up. We're about to pick up the Super Rod, which allows us to go fishing for a bunch of Pokemon, and the fishing loot tables have completely shuffled. With the old rod, it was just catching Magikarps, which got mapped into Butterfrees. That's where we got Dusty from. The good rod would normally have just caught a 50-50 split between Poliwag and Goldeen, I think it is. But in our randomization, Poliwag and Goldeen got swapped out for Jinx and Voltorb. So we've got the option of 50-50 between those. But the Super Rod actually has its own loot table based on what area, what route, what patch of water you're fishing from, just like the different grass patches all around the world. So the Super Rod adds a whole load of versatility because all of a sudden there are just different wild Pokemon everywhere that we can go back to. Like we can go back to all of the earlier towns and stuff and try fishing there and seeing what sorts of Pokemon are in loads of the different places. And that just opens up tons more options for things to catch. But I fully admit that's going to take a load of time to just basically scour the world and see what random Pokemon live in all these different fishing spots. Exactly, it's like a fresh dozen extra patches of grass. There's heaps of them out there that we can fish in. So I poked around in the game files with that in mind, and I actually discovered, digging around in the game files, that the program that I used to randomize this game, it took the regular base game of Pokemon Red and it spat out a randomized version of the game. The program that I used to perform that randomization actually outputted a log file, a text file, that contains within it the complete mapping information of the randomized transformation that it performed. It actually has listed in this text file exactly what Pokemon have been mapped into which different areas throughout the entire game. So once I discovered that, the first thing I did was make sure not to spoil the entire game for myself, because I didn't want to then just look up what every single thing it got mapped to, because that takes a lot of the surprise out of it. But I did use that log file to learn a bunch of things. One of the things I learnt is that, kind of as we suspected, ooh, another Edward. Kind of as we suspected, different parts of the game get different parts of the game get randomized in different ways. So different floors of caves are considered to be different tile sets for random Pokemon. So, for example, ooh, there's Electabuzz. For example, Mount Moon. Mount Moon's got like 1, 2, 3 different floors that we traverse through, and each different floor has a different randomized roll set. So what that means is that the Zubats on the first floor of Mount Moon got randomized to something different to the Zubats on the second floor of Mount Moon. And that carries through in a couple of different places. That worked in the Safari Zone as well. That's why there was so many different Pokemon in the Safari Zone, because each different zone of the Safari Zone... Oops, that was the wrong move. Each different zone of the Safari Zone is considered its own loot table, its own drop table of wild Pokemon, so they each got randomized independently. And Pokemon Tower as well, in Lavender Town, acts just like all of these places, with the different floors of Pokemon Tower, each having their own randomization being applied to them. So what we discovered when we went through Pokemon Tower was we bumped into Dragonites, Kadabras, and Rattatas. And they were basically all Ghastlies that were getting remapped on each of the different floors. The first floor in which wild Pokemon appeared, the Ghastlies all got mapped into Dragonites. The second floor with wild Pokemon saw all the Ghastlies getting mapped into Kadabras. and then the next floor saw the Ghastlies getting mapped into Rattatas. So that's actually different to kind of what we were suspecting when we first went through the tower. We were thinking about odds of seeing Haunters and Cubones and stuff appearing, but no, according to the log files and the way that this all works out, each of those floors got separately randomized, and so we were just encountering the same Ghastlies on every floor, it's just they were getting mapped to different things on each floor. So that actually means we have options there now, because we could attempt to catch a Dragonite with like 95% probability in Pokemon Tower, or we could attempt to catch a Kadabra in Pokemon Tower with, again, 95% probability. It's just about being on the correct floor for the Pokemon to appear. So, or we could get both, even. So there are suddenly options there that we can rely on with a decent amount of certainty. I couldn't resist looking back through the log files to check out what Diglett's Cave mapped to, just because we spent so long in Diglett's Cave trying to find what a Doug Trio mapped to. The Diglets all mapped to Kingler, and we just kind of fiddled around in Diglett's Cave for ages to see what a Doug Trio mapped to, and it's a good thing that we didn't waste too much time in there, because while the Diglets all mapped to Kinglers, the Doug Trio in Diglett's Cave mapped to Weedles. So it would have been incredibly anticlimactic to find like a high-level Weedle in there amongst all of the Kinglers. Yes, we would need to get to the correct floor in order to get the Kadabras, but I was thinking about that, and I'm not 100% sure whether or not it would be considered a cheat or against the spirit of the run, but we could actually use repels to get ourselves deep enough into somewhere. You know, pop down a repel so that no wild Pokemon appear, walk up to the correct floor of Pokemon Tower, then just wander around on that floor till the repel wears off, and that guarantees that the next wild Pokemon we encounter is on the correct floor. I'm not sure if that goes against the spirit of the run, but at the same time, we discovered that thing that that Edward could do when he cut the grass patch and sort of cut our way through, you know, grassy patches. Well, you know, maybe there's something to be said there. If we could do that, well, maybe we can just repel. Sure, that defeats the point of catching the first thing we encounter. That's what I'm grappling with, because it changes the first thing we encounter. That's the thing. Like, we literally can't encounter Pokemon until the repel wears off. So it allows us to get deeper within the tower, and we still catch the first Pokemon we actually see. But see, it's all a question of whether it goes against the spirit of the run. Repels are a normal item they expect people to use, absolutely. But that being said, they also don't expect people to play a Nuzlocke run like what we're doing. That's also not an expected thing. I thought there was something in the water here. Oh, I can't go in the water. No, that's exactly right, Novak. Yes. So repels are normal items, but Nuzlockes are not normal playthroughs. So I'm on the fence about that. Here we go. Super Rod time. Great. Alright. So, what we're going to do with this Super Rod, we are going to go and do some fishing. But, let's just swap with the Super Potion for now. But, because there is, as we said, so many different places in the world where we could go fishing, I didn't want to spend, half this stream just running around to every single place in the world, fishing there for 10 minutes just to get a bit of an idea of the loot table. So, I know I said I didn't want to spoil half the game for myself, but I did look up all the loot tables for fishing, just so that we could figure out where at least would be the best places to try fishing, and where are the places to just ignore completely. Yes, so the Super Rod got randomized by the exact same method as grass patches. So if there was, say, 4 Pokemon that could be fished up on a particular route, then those 4 Pokemon just got swapped out for 4 others, and they are just locked into those 4 for that route. So the first place we're going to fly to and investigate places to fish is all the way back to Vermilion City, where we fished up our Dusty. We might even go to that same patch of water. It was probably right here where we caught ourselves Dusty all those streams ago. Let's have a fish here and see what we can find. Dave, whatever makes you feel like you played by the rules. Using a repel might be likened to using healing potions, which is okay. Yeah, exactly. It comes down to difficulty and stuff like that, because, yeah, at the end of the day, Nuzlocke run, but I have no problem with just spamming potions to try and keep people desperately alive. Didn't save them from self-destructs that were badly timed, but yeah, you know, I get what you mean. Where, as long as it's fun, as long as we're satisfied that we're being self-consistent. Let's have a fish. There are 2 possible Pokemon that we can catch in Vermilion City by fishing. I don't remember what they used to be. They were something else in the original game, but they have now been randomized to 2 different things in this shuffling of the Pokemon. One of them is a Machamp. So here's a really weird idea. Popeye, that we have spent so long leveling up to level 43, could be phased out for by his evolved version that's even stronger than him. We could catch a Machamp and waste one of our 4 remaining spots to catch Pokemon, and just catch a stronger version of Popeye. I don't know how I feel about that, because there's a bit of sunken cost here. A lot's gone into leveling up Popeye. Even stuff just now. We've gotten him 2 more levels since the stream started. So this is a very definite possibility. Fishing in here gives us a 50-50 chance of seeing a Machamp. So there's a fun one to file away. Maybe this is an option to upgrade Popeye into Popeye's dad or something. I don't even know what Popeye's dad is. There he is again. Another one. So Vermilion was originally Krabby and Shelder. Okay, fair enough. Well, one of those 2, doesn't matter which, because they would have been 50-50 beforehand. One of those 2 has become a Machamp, and if we just keep fishing long enough, we will see what the other one has been randomized to. Because this is an exciting patch of water in Vermilion City. We can flip the 50-50 coin between getting a Machamp to replace Popeye, or, as it seems by the odds, basically only Machamp. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I thought that this was a 50-50. I didn't think these had a probability split like this. Oh, nice! Popeye's trying to learn Seismic Toss. I might actually do that. I think we're going to get rid of Mega Punch. Seismic Toss is weaker than Mega Punch, but Mega Punch was one of these ones that had like 80% chance or 85% chance or something, so there's a chance of it missing. And I think just Body Slam was just a better, stronger version of Mega Punch that had a 100% chance of hitting, so there's kind of no point keeping Mega Punch. Seismic Toss is one of these weird moves. Its damage formula is fixed. Seismic Toss just does damage equal to the user's level. So, you know, if Popeye's level 44, Seismic Toss does precisely 44 HP worth of damage every time it gets used. So it's a move that actually scales up, like, in that regard. Well, I mean, all moves scale up in damage as Pokemon level up, but yeah, its damage is very predictable. It just does damage equal to the level. So, could be handy. I'm thinking of doing it. Useful to punch ghosts, yeah. I think it actually does, yeah. I think it goes through the ghost type immunity to fighting type moves. I'm pretty sure it just applies the damage. I mean, we can test that out. Yeah, now let's do it. Let's get rid of Mega Punch and put in Seismic Toss. There we are. Okay, let's keep rolling a few more 50-50s, because I'd hate to think that the odds are just forever in Machamp's favour, and we just never see the other option in here. So I know what it is, because I've quote-unquote cheated. I've looked up the table, and it's Machamp or Gengar. So, speaking of ghosts, and now Popeye, here's your chance to test out Seismic Toss and see if it actually works against ghost-type Pokemon. This is the 50-50. If we fish in Vermilion City, we could get a Machamp to replace Machoke, or we could get a Gengar, so that we have a really strong ghost type on the team. And as a bit of an added bonus, he learns some Psychic type move. Well, he doesn't learn so much learn. We could teach him Psychic. He'll learn Dream Eater. He'll have Hypnosis and Dream Eater and Psychic and all those good kind of things. So that's kind of a fun option. But yeah, see, that's the problem. Machamp would be a pretty big waste now that Dicey has put the party under pressure. Exactly. Getting Machamp is not really an extra Pokemon. It's just a flat upgrade to Popeye. So there we go. Seismic Toss. Bam, does exactly 44 damage. It even hits Ghost-type Pokemon. Right. So there's our option for this place at least. So file that one away as an exciting route. We could be going up here as a 50-50 against Machamp or Gengar. I would kind of like the Gengar, but it's a question of whether or not it's worth the risk of maybe getting a Machamp. Exactly, Hypnosis and Dream Eater is a really nice combo. And then just Psychic to give it just another Psychic type move if it struggles to put people to sleep. Dream Eater with the healing as well. You know, like there's some good value here. So this is definitely an option. Oh, there goes Nightshade. Oh, hang on. Is this bad? No, it's not bad. Of course it's not bad. Sorry, I just panicked for a second. I thought Nightshade was Confusion, because it has a very similar animation. Nightshade's just like Seismic Toss. Nightshade will do exactly 15 damage, because Gengar is level 15. So I don't even know what I panicked for there. Yeah, so think about this one, and let us go and fish somewhere else. So we've got that. There's one possible place we can go. Let us go to... Let's go back to Fuchsia. So this is what we're going to be doing for like the next half hour. We're going to fly around to a couple of places, fish in a couple of places, yeah, and heal. And you guys can give me a bit of feedback, because we'll go and take on Koga at some point soon, but we need to have a plan for who we're going to catch. Yeah, we might just go and catch that Snorlax straight up, but we sort of want to map out where we're going, because we've only got so many options left now. We're going to go out the back here and fish in this guy's pond. Now, this place, I don't remember what used to be here, obviously, but there were, I believe, 4 different type of Pokemon in the water in Fuchsia City, which is actually a lot. So this is pretty bad odds, I'm not going to lie. This is bad odds, this patch here, because there are 4 possible Pokemon in here that each have a 25% chance of showing up. So you almost can't guarantee it, but one of them is a Mewtwo. And there he is. So if we had just gone and done that blind, we would have just waltzed right into the Mewtwo. So yeah, this is where Mewtwo lives. In the water patch in Fuchsia City, but she's a 1 in 4 chance. So that's challenging. Goldeen, Krabby, Magikarp, and Seaking. Yeah. So I'll have a fish in here just to see what a couple of the other options were. Yeah, clearly this is the Magikarp. Let's see, can we get 2 Mewtwo's in a row? Odds say very much no. There you go. So, Krabby is still in here. Krabby got re-randomized. Surely not as itself. I mean, there's kind of a 1 in 4 chance that it got randomized as itself, I guess, but one of them's a Krabby. One of them's a Mewtwo. But there are 2 other things in here. We might just see if we can see a third one, but it's going to take ages to see all 4 of them. And I don't want to waste too much time. Just enough for us to say, hey, this water patch here has a 1 in 4 chance of getting a Mewtwo. If, for any reason, we think that's a good deal, then that is an option. I'm not convinced it's a good deal, because knowing me, we'll just catch the Krabby or something, and not the Mewtwo, or whatever this is. A Grimer, exactly. So, you know, it's not an amazing patch of water, it's just, it happens to be the patch of water that's got the Mewtwo in it. So there's that. Let's go somewhere else. Where else? Let us go all the way back to the start of the game. Back to Viridian City. These even chance pools need to look at the worst case and assume you're getting Machamp and Krabby. Yeah, I guess that is true. That really is the way to do this. Also, we're not looking in this grass. Yes, Paris. Once upon a time, we did consider you. Back at the start of the game, you were considered, but we got Dusty instead. This patch of water right here. Let's have a fish here. Don't remember what was on this. I think this is Route 22, maybe? I don't remember the names of the routes. But the water patch here, just to the west of Viridian City, used to have 2 Pokemon in it. So this is another 50-50. Okay? So, just like our Gengar versus Machamp 50-50, this is going to be another 50-50 between 2 Pokemon. And again, we should consider this in terms of worst case scenario and see how this one plays out. So, here's one of them. Goldeen and Poliwag? Okay. One of them is a Mr. Mime. Psychic type. He's not the fanciest Psychic type. Well, I mean, he might be fancy, but you know, he's not the strongest Psychic type. But he is a Psychic type, and he's got some really weird defensive qualities. Like he's got like Reflect and Light Screen and various things that might help him to last longer, but I don't know. I don't know about moves like that, having to constantly use defensive moves to make someone sort of last longer in combat. I'd rather just use them to wipe out the opponent before they can do too much damage. But Mr. Mime is a Psychic option here. Here he is again. So this is definitely a possibility if we want to go for a Psychic type, and if we can't convince ourselves that sneaking all the way up Pokemon Tower to get the Kadabra is legit. This is definitely an easy way to get to a Psychic type here, and Mr. Mime. And the waters are just absolutely crammed full of Mr. Mimes, apparently. I think we saw this with the Machamps, didn't we? We had 3 or 4 of them before we actually got a Ghastly after all the Machamps. Could work out worthwhile in a 6-ball fight, but feels like a weird way to play. Yeah, I know. I worry about it against the Elite Four, just because of how strong the Elite Four are. I feel like just spending turns to just sturdy up one Pokemon is just inviting them to keep doing more and more damage while we get sturdier. Like, you'd have to play it super weird. Like, you'd have to start playing all the defensive moves, and then you'd have to start throwing down all the potions to heal up, and then you can go for it. Here's the second Pokemon. It's Execute, which is another Psychic-type Pokemon, and evolves into Executor, which is a pretty decently sturdy Psychic-type Pokemon. So, these are the Psychic Waters right here. We have a 50-50 between the pure Psychic-type Mr. Mime, or the hybrid Grass Psychic-type Execute, evolving into Executor. So, this is where we can go to catch a Psychic Pokemon, if we want, because these are the only two options. It's either a Mr. Mime, or it's an Execute. Execute would give us Grass-type moves, which we don't have yet, but at the same time we kind of don't need, because Grass is super effective against Water. We don't really have anyone doing that at the moment. I guess Electric's super effective against Water, but we don't yet have an Electric person. Dicey was our Electric user, and we lost her. Grass is super effective against Ground, but Water's already got that covered. Grass is super effective against Rock, but Water's also already got that covered. So, Grass doesn't really add anything that Hippo doesn't already cover at the moment. So, it's hard to say which of these two would be the worst of the two out of Mr. Mime or Execute, but they're both decent, which makes this for an interesting patch. So, file that one away as decent in terms of fishing spots. And the only other one that I'm even going to bother entertaining, given the situation we're in, is this grass patch here. I know it's not a fishing patch, but you guys remember the very start of the game? This would be the worst option, and this one is not a 50-50 split. I looked this up. This is a 60-40 split, unfortunately. At least I think that's what it was when I looked it up. 60% chance of getting like a really, really low-level Tentacruel, which, at the end of the day, Tentacruel would just be a complete replacement for Hippo. It's a water type that also has poison type moves, and has pretty sturdy defense. So, Tentacruel would just completely replace Hippo if we accidentally caught a Tentacruel. So that's the worst case scenario from this patch of grass. But the best case scenario is the 40% chance of having a Mew turn up. So, this is our other option. We could just roll the dice here, 60% chance of getting a Tentacruel, which would kind of replace Hippo, versus 40% chance of getting a Mew, which would just be a super strong all-rounder. She's a Psychic type, learns Psychic naturally, and just has very flat stats. Very high, but very flat stats, which means does perfectly well using normal type moves as well as Psychic type moves, and therefore also has very high speed and very high defense. She's really a good all-round Pokemon. It's annoying that she'd be level 3, but it's also only a 40% chance of catching her. So, it's not so ideal. But this is another possibility. So, these are our options, as I see them. And there's 3 of them. You're going to need to teach Execute its Psychic moves. And by moves, I mean move, exactly. I know I'd have to teach Execute Psychic. I think it learns Confusion, but that's not going to be good enough. Needs to be taught Psychic. But that's fine. We can totally do that. But we're coming to decision time. I'm going to start poking my head in Koga's place, and we need to have a plan of what we're going to do. We can definitely catch Snorlax straight after beating Koga, and maybe we do that. Otherwise, or maybe at least in a different order. Wait, did I heal? I did. Here's our 3 options to think about. Do we go to Vermilion City for a 50-50 between... so let me put this in the chat so it's easy to see for everyone. Do we do a 50-50 with Gengar and Machamp? So there's a 50-50 of Gengar and Machamp. there's let me immediately break my convention. Alright, there's a 1 in 4 of Mewtwo. There's a 50-50 of Mr. Mime and Execute, and I don't even know how to spell Execute. That might be correct. Or there's a 60-40 between Tentacruel and Mew. There are 4 options. I keep saying 3, but I guess that's because I've ruled out the Mewtwo option. But they're basically the best places at our disposal at the moment to go. Obligatory check the thing and see that Skeeves is already here. Feels like forever since we've seen Skeeves, but it's probably not true. Let us talk to some of these people here and just test the waters with Popeye and see what happens. Novak, your vote is based on nothing but your favourites, and you therefore vote for Gengar. with nothing else in mind. This is going to be bad. The Drowsy's in here because they've got their poison clouds, just to poison gas clouds, just to poison us unnecessarily. But they've also got Confusion, which is going to rip through Popeye because he's fighting type. So I honestly don't know what to do here. I don't think you can one-hit him. So we're going to chance this, and we're going to do like a body slam and just see what happens. Perfect, okay. Doesn't even need to be a crit. Body slam just 1 hits. So nothing to worry about. Kadabra. This is going to be the test. Alright, so this is going to be hard. But again, we're using a strong normal type move against a low defense Pokemon. Kadabra's got super high special defense, but just pretty measly defense, kind of like Dyson. And there's the Confusion. Hold it together, Popeye. Fine, super effective. Did a heap of damage. That makes me concerned that if it was a crit, we could have had a problem. But anyway. Problem is Kadabra is really fast, so Kadabra was going to go first there. That's 10 levels difference, and Kadabra was faster. So I am going to chicken out of there immediately and heal up, because we're at that point where we've got to kind of cheese it a little bit. We've got ourselves in a situation where we've got no one good for the current gym. So I mean, Hippo is just a definite option here. If we get ourselves really caught with Popeye, I'll just use Hippo. There are some other options. Mimekyu is the best choice of those, but I feel like there have been better options earlier. It's hard to say. Yeah, there have been good options in other places. I guess part of what I use for my criteria of what makes for a good option, and yeah, I'm not liking Popeye against this. I'm not liking this at all. Let's just go straight to Hippo now and just see what happens. Yeah, based on the best worst option theory. Yeah, there were definitely some decent ones in earlier patches. There's the poison gas, just like that. But one of the criteria I guess I was looking at was I really wanted a psychic type Pokemon on the team. Not necessarily for anything. Psychic type would have been great against this gym. Ugh. That's not good. That's not good at all. Where's those super potions? They're all the way down here. Let me swap them back with the super rod. Just don't psychic again. Headbutt, that's fine. Yep, I can take that. But there are other options. There are options I haven't even mentioned because they weren't to do with fishing. But since we're talking, let's float these options. The reason Snorlax is being considered, apart from just being super sturdy, is that Snorlax is a stationary Pokemon in the world. So it's a guaranteed opportunity to catch. It's just literally right there. We can just walk up and attempt to catch it. There are a couple of other options like that we do have floating around at the moment. Most notably, one of them is Eevee. Way back in Celadon City, there is an Eevee that's just sitting in a Pokeball at the top of a tower that we could just walk up to any moment we want and take. It would be against the rules though, because we'd have to take it at the moment we need to catch a Pokemon. So we could definitely just do it straight after Koga. We could defeat Koga, then walk up and just pick up the Eevee from the table on the top floor of the building in Celadon City. Eevee could evolve into Jolteon, and that Jolteon would be an interesting idea because that would give us electric on the team, and Jolteon may, strong, very heavy emphasis on the may there, may be a secret weapon against psychic types like Sabrina, just because of Pin Needle and stuff like that. It's, yeah, so there's an interesting option there, a Jolteon on the team. So, and that's guaranteed. We don't even have to try and throw a Pokeball. We don't even have to try to catch anything. We just literally walk up and pick it up, and then we just have to level it and evolve it into a Jolteon. So that is a very definite possibility. Whether we get it right now, so that we've got it in time for Sabrina, or whether we just kind of file it away. Yeah, I'm going to swap to Hippo. Whether we just file it away as one of the remaining 4 to think about getting. In the same vein as Jolteon, we could also go over to the power plant, just like in our previous playthrough, and wander up to Zapdos, who's just hanging out in the power plant. Zapdos is an even stronger electric type than Jolteon, and Zapdos comes with the benefit of just being level 50 when we catch it. So she would already be at a high enough level that she is suitable for the Elite Four there and then. From memory, when we took on the Elite Four, I can't remember what was coming out. Drowsy, yeah. When we took on the Elite Four the first time around, I'm pretty sure that that our Zapdos was just like level 51, 52 going through the Elite Four. No, the legendaries did not get shuffled, because the legendaries exist in the world as static Pokemon. So, just like the Snorlax. And the Snorlax didn't get shuffled because he literally lays there in the road. And all the legendary birds, and the Mewtwo, in fact, still all exist in their original locations, because they're just static events in the world. So, we could totally just walk up to and catch Zapdos. The others are much harder to get to, Articuno and Moltres, because to do them, we would have to convince ourselves that repels are okay to use, because there is no way we could get all the way through the caves necessary to get to Articuno or Moltres without bumping into some other Pokemon first. We'd have to use repels constantly in order to get anywhere near them. So that's why I've only considered Zapdos, not the others, because it's the one we could kind of sneak to a bit easier. So there's that as an option. So there's the Jolteon Zapdos conundrum of adding an electric type to the team there. The other one that I also find interesting is when we go to Saffron City, and before we take on Sabrina, we have to go up into Silphco and deal with all of them. Deal with Giovanni and all the others up in Silphco. And way up the top of the tower in there, one of the people in the tower show their gratitude for helping us defeat Team Rocket by just full-on giving us a Lapras. So we can, just like the Eevee, we could just be given a Lapras. And Lapras is really interesting because she would be another just direct replacement of Hippo which is kind of unfortunate. Or could be an addition to the team. Lapras is water ice type, so Lapras would get surf as well and do loads of water damage just like Hippo. But Lapras is also part ice type and just naturally learns Ice Beam on its own without even having to be taught it. And it gets the same type attack bonus for ice type moves. So that would also give us the option of an ice type Pokemon in the team. So Lapras is an interesting possibility for just picking up another static Pokemon. So yeah, shuffling the statics could be funny. The path is blocked by a sleeping Caterpie. Nah, it'd end up being a Metapod, wouldn't it? So I'll write those in the chat just as for thoughts as well, just so we've got options there. We could just grab a Jolteon or Zapdos. And I've spelled Jolteon wrong. Never mind. Or we could just pick up a Lapras. And just like Snorlax, and I suppose I should write that there as well. Snorlax, there we are. Just like Snorlax, all of those are basically just for free. We don't really have to attempt to roll the dice. We can guarantee ourselves the chance of seeing those Pokemon. I'm going to go out and heal again, because I am a coward. Dicey has scared me into taking this seriously. Zapdos and Snorlax seem obvious best choices for 2 out of 4 slots. Yeah. That's exactly along my train of thought as well. And at this point in the game, I'm satisfied with considering all these options as just the remaining 4 Pokemon. I haven't looked ahead to see what the randomization does for like Seafoam Islands with Articuno is, and I haven't looked to see what the randomization does for Cinnabar Island, where Blaine is, and the Pokemon Mansion and all that kind of stuff. So I have no idea what the things there could end up randomizing to. They might be even better than the options we've got here, but just purely playing the odds, at this point we have seen so much of the game that, you know, we've seen basically all the good options. What are you still missing that you need? Ice Dragon, Psychic. Dragon's a funny one. Dragon's a funny one. There's no actual good Dragon-type moves in Gen 1, and Dragon is only super effective against other dragons. So, oh, it was Hypno. Didn't even read that. Okay, let's chance it with a Body Slam. Alright, it's only a poison gas. That's fine. Just give it some strength. Yeah, fire's probably not that useful. We don't really need a fire type, absolutely. There was talk of getting a ground type at one point. That would have been fun, but the odds are really tough against that. I'm going to walk out and heal that poison. Psychic would be good. If for no other reason than to go up against Agatha's ghost types, her ghost poisons, because the Psychic's super effective against the poison in the ghost poisons. So Psychic is just nice there, and it's just a solid damage dealer. Psychic type. Ice is nice. Yeah, Fire is surprisingly useless against Elite Four. Ice would be nice for the Dragon types. In our first playthrough, we took out Lance using combinations of Blizzards and Thunders from Noodle, from our Dragonite, that was using Blizzard and Thunder and missing most of the time. But that was the Electric type and the Ice type moves that really helped there. So Electric on the team, definitely, and Zapdos would really help with that. Zapdos also comes with the benefit of not having to whatchamacallit, not having to like level it up. Zapdos already starts at level 50, which puts her at the head of the pack. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to Hippo. I mean, part of me does want a Jolteon, just because we've already done Zapdos once. We did Zapdos in the last playthrough, and Jolteon just feels sufficiently different and interesting. So I'm sort of leaning towards that as an alternative, just so we're not doing exactly the same thing again. Nice painted graphic. Take my money, thanks. That's the graphic of the dead Marowak in the Pokemon Tower, when we got the Sylph Scope and stuff like that. I figured I'd use that because that's like the unknown ghost type kind of thing. Yeah, Dicey took the good electric TM. That's the thing that annoys me. That Dicey took Thunderbolt. You know, we lost that as an option. Zapdos does learn Thunder, which is nice. I don't think Jolteon learns Thunder. Jolteon could have learnt Thunderbolt and we still had to teach it to Jolteon. But Jolteon can be taught Thunder, and Thunder is a TM that we can pick up in the power plant. So that's kind of fine. We could get a Jolteon, then go to the power plant and just pick up Thunder. Or does Jolteon actually learn Thunder? Oh, perfect. Maybe it was more a case of when I looked at it, I thought it was way too high level. Maybe I thought Jolteon learns Thunder way too late in its level set and just wanted to teach it earlier or something. But anyway, yeah, okay. Yeah, level 52 or 54, one or the other. In the 50s is a bad call anyway. That's a round about 54. That's a long way away. Especially without Thunderbolt, it would just have Thunder Shock, which is like, you know, pretty poor. But I am interested in Jolteon. That's a definite possibility. And just because Eevee, I've basically never done an Eevee. Probably need to level of that far to fight Elite Four anyway. That is true. That is true, really. So there's a definite possibility there. If we are doing Eevee, then what we need to be keeping in mind is I should be trying to get her before Sabrina then. Because Jolteon would actually be good against Sabrina for trying out that Pin Needle bug type move. Also because Jolteon has a high speed, being electric type, so she's fast, so she'll actually have a chance of going first against the fast psychic types. And also, she's got a high special stat, which means she'll be fairly resistant to the special type psychic moves. So Jolteon in that regard would actually be both fairly good for offense and defense against Sabrina's psychic type, which means that in terms of the order we do things, it might be worth trying to go for Jolteon right now, leveling her up, then taking out Sabrina, and then after Sabrina getting the Snorlax. Doesn't look like it'll do much damage, might be okay if it hits 4 or 5 times. Amazing stat is speed, which seems weaker than other Eevee's good stats. Should just told exactly, yes, see the critical hit chance really can get abused with electric type Pokemon. Having a higher speed and therefore having a much higher chance of doing critical hits can be really handy. Pin Missile's level 48. Oh, that's annoying. I mean, that being said, Popeye is level 46. So it is definitely possible. Like, we're operating at the moment with a very small team. So the few that are on our team are getting leveled pretty heavily. So it wouldn't be impossible to get Jolteon all the way up to level 48. That's all I'm saying. It's something I would definitely be open to doing. It would just mean that we wouldn't be defeating both Koga and Sabrina this stream, but I don't think there was ever any chance of that. Pin Missile does 28 to 70 power, which is not great, with no same type attack bonus. Yeah, I do realise that. It's pretty low like that. It is super effective against psychic types though, so it's kind of doubles that. And then when you combine that with the fact that there's a slightly better than average chance of critical hits, there's always the possibility of some fun stuff going on. So, like, it's not a secret winner, Like, it's not like Pin Missile completely wipes the floor of Psychic types, but it's decent. And I've never actually tried it, so it's got my interest, but I fully recognize that it mightn't be a real good strategy. But even if it's not, Electric type really useful for the Elite Four. So that's what I'm thinking. 56 to 140, Thunder is 180 with the same type bonus by comparison. Oh yeah, Thunder does great. The same type attack bonus doesn't double, it just does 50% more. So it won't take the... Oh wait, Thunder is 120. Oh yeah, so it takes 120 to 180. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Jolteon will learn Skull Bash, didn't you get a TM? Good normal move for Psychic, you're absolutely right. Although I would put Skull Bash on Snorlax. In fact, I think Snorlax might even learn Skull Bash in the first place. Because being a normal type move, Snorlax will get the same type attack bonus from it. You need to level to 52 first instead of just 48. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of not good options, but at the same time, it might be necessary because, as we say, we've got to get a Electric type Pokemon up to that sort of level for the Elite Four anyway. So we might be just biting the bullet and doing it. I'm also sort of just pausing here and saying all this because I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're up to Koga. There's Koga right there. So we are at decision time. For no particular reason, I'm going to go and heal, just to get everyone set. But we are at decision time. So it's now it's your job, chat, and everyone in chat. It's your job to basically talk me out of, if you so desire, to talk me out of going and getting a Jolteon straight after beating Koga. I definitely feel like we should be getting a Snorlax, and Snorlax would also be kind of good against Sabrina. But Snorlax also just has the benefit of just being a general damage soak, which come Elite Four time, we might just need a damage soak to sort of sit out while we potion everyone else for a while. So Snorlax is good when we have other options. Snorlax will squash Sabrina easier than Jolteon. Maybe that's what we go for then. Yeah, maybe we literally do it in that order. We get the yeah, you need to level Eevee to the end levels to be useful in that fight. Yeah, okay. I feel like you're convincing me. So Snorlax first, after we defeat Koga. Then we use Snorlax to defeat Sabrina. After defeating Sabrina, then we can consider the Jolteon. But at that point then, we'll be down to just, after we get Jolteon, we'll only have 2 more left, and then we're at the end of the game. And that's where we start to check out what's in the other routes, and we weigh up our remaining options with things like a Lapras, or a Dragonite, or a Kadabra, or a Mew, or a Gengar, or a Mr. Mime, or a, all those sorts of things. That's when we can start weighing up those. So, okay, let me just check what we've got item-wise. We've got 2 Super Potions, 2 Max Potions, a Hyper Potion. Okay, that's probably fine. Yeah. We do have Popeye up front. Popeye won't like it if there's Psychic types going out, but Popeye will be able to tank the self-destruct that his wheezing at the very end sends out. So that's fine. I'm pretty sure we just leave Popeye in for this entire fight, and we just go from there. So let us do it. Here we go, everyone. We're talking to Koga. Child like you dares to challenge me? Very well. I shall show you true terror as a ninja master. Also, while we're talking about Koga gives us the TM Toxic, which we didn't use in our first playthrough, but there's a world in which Toxic might have some utility in this playthrough, and that utility would be if we got either Tentacruel accidentally when we tried to catch Mew, or if we successfully got Gengar. I think Gengar can learn Toxic, and Gengar is also Ghost Poison, is part poison. So Gengar could be really interesting with Toxic because you could be putting the opponent to sleep, then you could be toxicing them, and then you could be eating their dreams, and they'll just be slowly dying of poison and dream sleep. So there's a fun kind of play there, but one thing at a time. If we ever get to that point. Yeah, look at that, poison and sleep, absolutely. So, all right, Koga, bring it on. Alright, first coughing. And I think when I checked out the levels, I think all these opening coughings are too low level to no self-destruct. So I don't think there's any danger here. They'll just poison us. Or use X attack. That too, for what it's worth. Okay, one down. Muck. I think you're just going to use minimize and stuff, which will be annoying. No, keep using X attacks. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can live with this. Ah, and there's the paralysis. Perfect. A second X attack. Really, Koga? What are you trying to do here? Another coughing. Can we get one that doesn't use X attacks? There's the sludge. Alright, don't poison us. Got out of that. Alright. So, 131 hit points. Is that enough to tank a critical hit from a self-destruct? I think that's a mile of HP. I'm sure that's plenty. But we'll go with the body slam. Oh, there's Toxic. Okay, so there's Toxic. So Popeye is badly poisoned, which means we have to be very careful with this now, because he's going to start taking significant poison damage. Come on, another body slam. So there's the first hit by poison. There's the self-destruct. Here it is. 122 hit points. Look at that. Called it. It was closer than I would have wanted, because if that was a critical hit, that could have been bad. And I'll review the footage later to see just what the odds were of that dice roll, whether we were in a high percentile or a low percentile there. But it worked. That did the job. I'm going to use an antidote on Popeye, just because I'm worried there's the smallest chance that he might faint before we get back to the Pokemon Center. I'm not having that. Yes, that was the other reason we had to defeat Koga, because we couldn't surf without defeating Koga. So, there we go, we've got Toxic. Came close to needing to catch that Machamp. Ooh, that's interesting. Wouldn't that have been an interesting way to need to catch a Machamp? Yeah. There's almost a bit of strategy in that. Alright, antidote. Go. Popeye is fixed. Yeah, you're right. Would have changed everything, because then we would have needed to waste an extra spot catching Machamp, and it would have meant that we didn't get an extra Pokemon before Sabrina, and well, we just get the Snorlax then. And it would also mean that there's the chance of us getting a Gengar instead of the Machamp, and we would have lost our edge against all the Ice type in the Elite Four. Okay, let me update the graphic here. Because we're currently live. Excuse me while I have a little bit of a cough and a sip of my water there. We're currently live. Next Pokemon we see is the only Pokemon we're allowed to catch. We have one Great Wall, and that's it. So let's go buy a few more. Now, Snorlax has this nice feature of probably enough. Snorlax has this nice feature of putting itself to sleep. Let's see. Edward, you're the cutter. So that actually makes it a whole lot easier for us to try and catch Snorlax. Like, we could send Dusty in and use Sleep Powder to put Snorlax to sleep, but Snorlax would probably put itself to sleep. I am going to buy... let's see. Here's me saying I'm about to buy Great Balls and not Ultra Balls. Here's my logic. Ultra Balls are better if you're catching Pokemon with low HP. If you've got a Pokemon below a third of its health, down close to red bar, Ultra Balls do have a better chance of catching. However, because of the weird probability curve on this, if you're throwing balls at a Pokemon with full HP, with 100% of its HP, Great Balls end up actually having a better chance than Ultra Balls for a Pokemon with full HP. And I feel like Snorlax, there's a good chance we're throwing Pokeballs at it when it's at full HP. It's just going to be asleep, either because Dusty will put it to sleep, or because it will have used rest and fully restored its health to max. So we'll be throwing balls at it with max HP most of the time. Yes, you can buy twice as many, that's right. Look at that, I could buy 99 of them for just over half my money. We've already got one, so how about I get 18 more? And by 18 I mean 19. I don't know why I got 18. There we go. So, more. Yeah, I've got 20. I know, I'm worried too, but according to my odds, when a Pokemon is asleep, you're all saying more. When a Pokemon is asleep, it has a flat 20% chance of being caught, like additive. If a Pokemon had a 2% chance of being caught when it was awake, that goes up to 22% when it's asleep. It just gets an additive 20% to its catch probability when it's asleep. So, to me, that says the expected number of Great Balls I should need to throw for any catch is 5. But you're right, we still need more of them for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yeah, okay, you've talked me into it. Another 20. There we go. I think this is the most Pokeballs or Great Balls or anything I've ever had in any playthrough of Pokemon. 40 Great Balls. We are not letting this Snorlax get away for anything. Now's the challenge. We need to get Dusty up the front so we can make sure to put Snorlax to sleep and not accidentally kill it. We also need to make sure we don't accidentally see any other Pokemon, because it's the next Pokemon we see is the one we catch. So that's why I'm going up to Lavender Town and walking down, because by my reasoning that's the easiest way to make sure we don't encounter any other Pokemon. You see a Pokemon in that lake. Have I defeated this trainer? I don't. Not that it matters, because if I see his Pokemon, that doesn't count, right? No, I haven't. You're right, I have not. Because he's on the other side of the Snorlax. This isn't a problem, is it? I can see this guy's Pokemon, right? That's not against the rules, surely. Yeah, I'm just reading my Nuzlocke rules on the side. Nuzlocke means blah 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 blah. Under the above rule, you must attempt to catch the first wild Pokemon you find, including Pokemon given. Yeah, so when I see his Pokemon that he sends out to battle, they don't count as wild Pokemon. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I can't walk into a trainer battle with this guy and just throw Pokeballs at him because I can't catch them. Is Snorlax wild? I'm gonna say yes, in the sense that it can be battled. It'll be pretty wild when I fight it. You're right, Dusty is up first. Good call. Good call. Let's put Hippo up first, just because Hippo could do with a little more XP. There we are. That's how I know that we haven't been here. Because I was looking for that before. That little tiny island off to the side there that's got Payday in its TM just sitting there. Also, is this a bad time to mention that no one brought the Poker Flute? No one picked up the Poker Flute from the PC, right? So we're just about to walk up to this Snorlax and what, just like give it a kick? So, as it is, we've already got to wander back to the PC. We've just come unprepared. But, that being said, we will wander down here and pick up this TM first, since we're here, and we will go and clean up our inventory, because I'm sure we've got loads of other TMs on us that we don't want to have on us. Okay. Any other trainers here? Yeah, okay. Let's just see the rest of these trainers. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. We can't go and pick up that TM because that would require surfing over to it. And the minute I surf over to it is the minute that I encounter a Magikarp in the water. That was that would have been bad. Okay, yeah, we've just set ourselves up poorly here. Yeah, I'm glad someone was about to say, because I just had that realization myself. We're attempting to do this all the wrong time. I just forgot that there were trainers on the north side of Snorlax that we hadn't cleared out. So let's wander down there. Man, how many fishermen are there? Let's take all of them out. More fishermen. Yeah, there's like a whole half of a route here that we just haven't even wandered down. And it feels a bit weird using Hippo against all these water-type Pokemon, but it's fine. Hippo's double their level. She can out-surf them all any day. Oh, and another Horsey, just to finish off. Almost a mirror match. Alright. Up and around the S-bend. Snorlax has got to be just here. There it is. Alright. Give it a kick. Sleeping Pokemon blocks the way. Yeah. we should have come with the Poké Flute. Alright. Let us fly back to Lavender Town. Let's go and dump a bunch of stuff in the PC. Take the Poké Flute out. Okay, what don't we want? Well, let's put the TM20 in there. Don't know what that is. Check them out later. Let's put the PP up in there. Yeah, calcium and iron, sure. I'll put the Super Rod in there because we're not using it right this minute. Calcium and iron should be used by someone. But who? I don't know. We'll also put Toxic in the computer. We don't need it right now. So I'll put the calcium and the iron in the computer as well, just because I don't know who to give them to. And we'll work that out maybe by the time we get to the Elite Four. Someone that could do with a good defense boost, and someone that could do with a good... didn't get the Poké Flute. Someone that could do with a good special boost. Thank you, Trans. Yes. Let's take the Poké Flute with us. Also, there's something I didn't consider. Old Amber and Helix Fossil. They're not randomized. Yeah. And none of the HMs work as a flute substitute. You think Flash? Yeah, certainly. Helix Fossil, in case we wanted to get a Lord Helix on our team. Or Old Amber, if we just wanted to get a straight up Aerodactyl on our team. So, they're interesting options that I did not even consider. I mean, Omanyte's nothing flashy, and we've already got a water type. Aerodactyl could be interesting, because Aerodactyl was in that grass patch with Chansey when we were doing the kind of the 50-50. Come on, let's hop on the bike. This will take forever. We were doing kind of that 50-50. Oh yeah, building. Alright, let's hop back on the bike again. So, yeah, maybe. We'll come up and pick up Payday after we get Snorlax. Okay, here we are. Dusty's up front. Dusty's got Sleep Powder. We've got 40 Great Balls. There should be no way that this goes wrong. Famous last words. Let's play the Poké Flute and wake this guy up. Snorlax woke up and attacked in a grumpy rage. There you go. That's what constitutes him being a wild Pokemon. Snorlax. And he's only level 30, which again makes him like even weaker than Edward at this point. But let us Sleep Powder. There we go. It's kind of funny when you think about it. There's a Snorlax sleeping in the middle of the road, so we play the Poké Flute to wake him up in order to send out Dusty and put him right back to sleep, so we can catch him now. Like, why couldn't we have just thrown Pokeballs at the sleeping Snorlax? Why did we have to wake him up to battle him to put him back to sleep to try and catch him? But anyway, Great Ball, go! Oh, we nearly caught him on the first one. Look at that. Go Great Ball. Just like that, all it takes is 2. Which means we could have bought 1 Great Ball and that would have been enough, because we already had one. Oh, nicknames. Yeah, I was not prepared for this. I shouldn't have bought so many. Oh dear, I'm blaming you guys for that. Alright, Snorlax, nickname time. Sleepy, Sneezy, Dopey, Dozy, the Dicey replacement, Dicey 2.0, I don't know, Snorlax, Yeah, just literally Snorlax with an E in it. Sure. Yep. Yep. Flash? Why Flash? What? Ironically, because he's so fast or something? Yes! Just name him ironically. I mean, we kind of could. Like, we've named all the others fairly straight, you know, Popeye and Dusty and Dicey were kind of named for their attributes. Brawn Dodo just reckons the sleepy. Drowsy. Drowsy would be funny, but would be also confusing. Especially for opposing trainers. You know, like when Ash stands there and he's like, "Go Pikachu," and throws out the Pokeball. I could stand there and go, "Go Drowsy," throw out my Pokeball, and out comes a Snorlax. Like, and not a Drowsy. This is a hard one. And I can't even do this by democracy, because I honestly don't remember who named half the others. Me a boy. Let's see. Who named the others? I think Katooth named Dicey. Can't remember who named Dusty. That might have been me. But Katooth, you also named Hippo, I think. Am I just attributing everything to you? Edward came from Novak, and Popeye, I think, came from Brawn Dodo. You named Hippo. You think I named Dicey. Maybe I did. Can't think of any laxative jokes. Oh, because of the lax at the end, Snorlax. Dreamy? Yeah. Dreamy could work. Dreamy would be nice to keep up our sleeve, though, for Gengar, actually. If we accidentally or deliberately ended up getting a Gengar, I think Dreamy might be a nice name for him. So yeah, let me bank that one. Yeah, let me bank Dreamy for Gengar, maybe. Slowpoke, yeah, continuing the trend of naming Pokemon with names of other existing Pokemon. McDreamy for the Grey's Anatomy joke. Let's see. Scrolling up through the chat to see what we had further up. Yeah. Snorlax with the E. Sleepy, Drowsy. Flash. Yeah. Big units. I mean, he is that. Big boy. I mean, we could just go with Big Boy. Grumpy? Maybe Grumpy works, because, yeah, like, he's so annoyed to be awake all the time. We're sending him out into battle and he just wants to sleep. Flutood's fun, because of the way that we had to wake him up. I'm leaning towards Grumpy. Grumpy is taking the lead at the moment in the list of names in the straw poll that's happening in my head. And I'm also conscious of the fact that it's now, we've just hit 10 o'clock, and I've probably only got another, like, 30 minutes, 35 max, before I'm going to call it for tonight, so let's not spend forever doing this. Snorlax instead of Snorlax. No, I say we go Grumpy. I'm going to make the call. Thank you everyone for your input. Grumpy is fine. That sounds like a compromise to me. Grumpy. Yay. Alright. What do you mean this is the best part of the night? I know, right? Oh, look at that. He's asleep. Level 30. Let's have a look at him and let's add him to the thing. So, Snorlax. Grumpy. And that's in the wrong spot of the spreadsheet. Let's try putting it there. I've typed next to where the name goes. There we go. That's it. Here we are. Grumpy. Let's What's that? So slow, slower than Popeye? Of course, we knew this. Grumpy is the slowest of almost all Pokemon. He's not fast at all. That's why Flash was proposed as a name. So, but that's fine because the Psychic type Pokemon are so fast that they're basically getting the first turn anyway. So once you're this slow, it doesn't matter how slow you are. I guess the only thing is it means he basically never does a critical hit when he's this slow. Hindsight, we needed to start with Eddie. I know. I do have this thing where I end names with vowels or vowel sounds like this. Popeye, Hippo, Dusty, Dicey, Grumpy. My names do tend to be very much adjectives or things like that, so yeah, that's just kind of my bent when I name Pokemon. So yeah, you're right. I would be happy to just consider Edward as Eddie for the time being. Look at that attack stat though, and reasonable special. Headbutt, Amnesia, and Rest. I think Amnesia increases special stat, which is fun in a defensive way. You know, going up against all the Psychic type Pokemon, using Amnesia to increase Snorlax's special, not so he does more special damage, but so that he resists more special damage. So that could be kind of fun, sending Snorlax out and starting with Amnesia. No worries. Yes, go use Rest now. Yes. I'll have to think through. We're gonna have to train him up. That's something we're gonna have to do to start with. But let us start by running back up, picking up that TM in the water, and we're gonna have to train him up. We'll have to spend basically the next half hour training up Snorlax. So Hippo, you can surf through here. Pick up the TM, surf back. Ah, made it. Look at that. And just like that, we're gonna fly. Let me fly. I don't think I've ever been to Saffron, have I? No. So let's fly to Celadon. Haha, Snorlax can learn Payday. Of course it can. Which is a bit jokes, because we have so much money. But we definitely could teach it Payday. We possibly should think about what we could teach it. Rescues poison and so on was a bit buggy in Gen 1. Yeah. Rest does some funny things sometimes. If there are strong normal type moves that we have, then we have to teach them to Snorlax. That's just the rule. So let me put Payday in the computer. And let's take a moment to just sort of quickly check over these TMs. You're going to go as well. No worries, Trans. Maybe I actually do this off camera. Yeah, because there's so many TMs in here. Let me scroll through them slowly so I can pause the recording, see what ones I've got when I check this out later. And see if any of those are actually anything good. There must be good normal type moves in here. In fact, we could just teach him Strength. Like, at very least, maybe just giving him Strength is a good call, because he's only got 3 moves. He'll have, well, we have to be really careful actually. He'll have Rest forever. He may also have Amnesia forever. You're right, Strength is 80 power and you can't get rid of it, so in fact, yeah, that might cause us problems. Skull Bash is 100, that's nice. Does Snorlax learn Skull Bash in its level up set, or is it just it's going to get taught Skull Bash? Because if it learns it, then I definitely just wouldn't teach it to it if it just naturally learns it. Headbutt's only got 15 PP, which is kind of annoying though. But that's okay. We'll work with what we've got. He's level 30, he needs to get leveled up more. No, he learns Body Slam, good. Double Edge, good. Hyper Beam, even better. But he's got to get really high level before he learns Hyper Beam. 85, 100, and 150. So strength is low damage, you're right. So in the end, he'd end up with like Double Edge and Hyper Beam. Or even Skull Bash and Hyper Beam. Or something as his like top moves at the end. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we'll leave him how he is at the moment. And we will go from there. What we need to do though is wander through into Saffron and just start getting everything sorted in there. Alright, here we are in Saffron. Let me visit the Pokemon Center here just so that we can set the waypoint, as it were. Yeah, especially if we want to teach it a non-normal move like Ice Beam. Yeah, I'm still torn about that. I think Hippo might be able to learn Ice Beam as well. And the Pokemon that gets Ice Beam should be the one that has the highest special stat, whoever that ends up being. If we don't have an Ice-type Pokemon. Actually... Yes, I'll certainly wait to see if we get an Ice type. We won't do that too prematurely. I'm forgetting up here. So here's another option I hadn't considered. We've got the Fighting Dojo here, which has a Hitmonlee and a Hitmonchan at the end, which technically we're not allowed to pick up, but we could with any of our remaining Pokemon. I mean, we've already got Popeye, so we don't actually need another fighting type. Like Hitmonlee, we got Hitmonlee in the last playthrough because he was just the stronger fighting type with all of his kicking power. But Hitmonchan has the elemental punches. Hitmonchan has like... doesn't it have like Fire Punch and Thunder Punch and Ice Punch? Which would actually give us someone with Fire and Electric and Ice all in one go. Like, that's an interesting option that I had not even considered. It won't get same type attack bonus from any of them. So it's no stand-in for a pure electric type or a pure ice type. But that's something. Grumpy could learn self-destruct. We could use that to finish off the final battle. Oh, I could. I could explode Grumpy and take out the rival's final Pokemon. That would be hilarious. Oh, dear. I'm wandering in here, but I'm a little worried. We're going to send Grumpy in and just see what level these Pokemon are, but I do recognize that they are fighting types, so they're actually going to do loads of damage to Grumpy. But that's fine, because I'll just send out someone else. Yeah, level 31 Machop against level 30 Grumpy. Nah, we're going to have to split. Let's send out... well, we could send out Dusty. But again, Dusty's utility. We're not really leveling up Dusty for the Elite Four. So, let's send out Hippo. Because Hippo and Popeye is where all the attention really needs to be. So, let's get Hippo out. Oh, that was a crit. Nice, Hippo levels up. I should check how much it's going to take for Grumpy to level. I'm kind of worried that Grumpy's going to be a slow leveler. Hitmonchan's Ice Punch isn't that great compared to an Ice Pokemon, or Ice Beam or someone good. Yeah, okay. So it's definitely no substitute for actually having an Ice type Pokemon. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Nearly sent Grumpy into battle. Whoops, and accidentally used Bubble Beam instead of Surf. and nearly accidentally killed him. Let's finish him off with a little bubble. There we go. 35 special, 75 power move. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nothing real impressive then. Oh well. I'm also going to move Hippo down to the bottom, just to make it a little bit quicker to switch to Hippo. So, we'll just use these trainers as a way to get Grumpy a little bit of extra XP here. Let's try the Bubble Beam. Because fortunately, yeah, Hippo and Popeye are both kind of over-leveled for where we are at the moment. At least that's the impression I get. Whoops! That was a mistake. Yeah, and I can't afford to send Grumpy back out, because knowing me, Grumpy will get one hit now. He'll get wiped, and that will be the end of Grumpy, and I will be sad. So, let us not even risk that. Whew, a lot of damage on that critical hit. Yes, there are plenty of ordinary Pokemon to level him on. You're absolutely right. I don't know, I just feel like leveling on trainers to me feels somehow more powerful than leveling on ordinary Pokemon. I don't know whether that's purely some sort of bias I've got, that maybe trainers have higher level Pokemon than wild Pokemon or something. Yeah. Well, it could just also be faster in the sense that, you know, they're right here. We literally know we're encountering Pokemon. But yeah, faster but dangerous. Excuse me. Yeah, well, we're about to wander up Silph Tower thingo, and check in on everyone up there, and I'll just keep switching Grumpy in and out for a bit up there. As soon as he levels up to 31, we'll take the chance to stop and see what how much XP he actually needs to level, because I feel like Snorlax is probably a really slow leveler, which is going to be super annoying. Alright, out you go, Grumpy. Back you come, Grumpy. Hippo's starting to live it dangerously here, but we're fine. Wow, still haven't leveled up. Okay. And then it's just you. You're the Karate Master. Expect no mercy. Yeah, you've got the Hitmonlee and the Hitmonchan. That's right. I might just send out Popeye, just because Hippo's on half health, and something funny could happen here with that rolling kick. Yeah, I'm just a little worried how this could have played out, so Popeye can take these hits a bit more. There we go, that's a crit. And Hitmonchan, and we'll do the exact same thing. Oh, 50% bonus EXP gain from trainers. I was not aware of that. Okay. Nice, Fire Punch. And paralyzed from the body slam. There we go. Ah, Grumpy finally levels. Oh, and Popeye gets a level as well for helping. Good on ya. Okay, yes. You'll give me a prized fighting Pokemon, but I can take neither of them. It's against the rules. So I'm gonna just leave them there after having defeated both of you. Let us go back down and heal. And then check how much XP Grumpy actually needs to level. Excuse me, sir. Do. Okay. Grumpy, level 31, needs 3,000 to level up. In comparison, Popeye, who also just leveled up, needs 6,000 to level up, but he is also significantly higher level. What about Edward? We've got no idea where he is in the level cycle, so 2,500. That could be big, it could be small. We honestly don't know, so that's not a good comparison. So, okay. Let's I've got in my mind for some reason there's something important in this house. What's in here? Yeah, Mr. Psychic's house. Is this an important house? Should I be talking to you? Yeah, that's Psychic, isn't it? It is. I'm Psychic. Dusty can learn it, of course, so can Grumpy. Interesting. We should go put it in the computer, along with the poker flute. Don't know why we're still wandering around with the poker flute. It's literally useless now. Actually, and I'm saying this without really knowing, but I feel like maybe it's true anyway, but I'm saying the poker flute is literally useless, because there's no more Snorlaxes that we can wake up. But part of me thinks, I reckon, if you are in combat, and one of your Pokemon gets put to sleep, you could go to the menu and play the poker flute in battle and wake up your Pokemon. But I could just be making that up. But I feel like that's got to be a thing, right? Which then gives the poker flute at least a tiny bit of utility. But if that were the case, then who would be ever buying Awakenings? You know, from the Pokemon. If you could just use the poker flute as like an infinite item. Okay, excuse me, there are trainers everywhere, but I have the benefit of hindsight. I know there's a card key in here somewhere. It really does it? Huh. I feel like, part of me feels like I knew that, but at the same time it also feels like it's super obvious that that's the sort of thing you'd try. Yeah, okay. I know there's a card key in here somewhere, and I know roughly what floor it's on. At least I know the layout of the floor it's on. It's not this one, so we are going to rush directly to the floor for which the card key is on. It's this one, this floor. The card key is down here. It's past this warp tile, which I have to do that to come back to. So I have to fight this trainer, and then I can go straight for the card key. And once we've got the card key, we are going to go all the way back down to the bottom floor, and just start from the bottom and go up and fight all the trainers. Unlike, you know, yeah, last time. How about, I wonder, nah, I was going to say, I wonder how Grumpy'd go if we just sent him out, but nah, let's not. Glare. I've literally never seen that move used, ever, in combat. Hippo's paralyzed. So Glare's just Thunder Wave, is it? That is super annoying. Because now Hippo's just paralyzed. Oh, dear. Part of me wants to just go and heal that up. Because who brings paralyzed healers with them? So, up we go. And there it is. Card key. Bam. Just like that. Right. So, we will now go all the way back to the start. And we will just go up every floor one by one and use none of the teleport pads. Dun, dun. Oh, that's ground floor. Okay, it's a sign. Let's heal the paralysis. Let's waste a bit of time. Where's the door? Where's the door? How do I get out of here? There it is. Okay, let's save a little bit of time by flying to the Pokémon Center? Question mark? That's got to be quicker than just walking down the street. Surely. Alright, 10 minutes, then we're going to have to call it for this session. I know we've only just passed the 2-hour mark, which means we are having a super short session tonight. But we have a hard cap on the amount of time we can spend in this session tonight. So 10 minutes is about where the hard cap is. Excuse me. Alright, let's go and talk to every single trainer and slowly level up Grumpy. Plays just like Thunder Wave except very low accuracy and it can affect ground type. Huh, interesting. Also Golbat. Go on, Grumpy. Headbutt that Golbat. Oh, look at that. Actually did a decent amount of damage. So there you go. You can 2-hit a Golbat. I don't like the fact that there was Supersonic coming out there, though. So let's... And I especially don't like the Confuse rate. So maybe we just don't chance it. Oh, that is a 1-hit. And I guess you do have rest, so it's not like it's the end of the world here. Eradicate. Sneaking in with the quick attacks. Come on, Grumpy. Grumpy accidentally headbutts himself. Ah, there we go. Confused no more. That's what we like to hear. Ooh, Hyper Fang. I think it's time to sleep. Another Zubat. Okay. Grumpy. Go to bed, Grumpy. Nice. So as an interesting combo then, if I'd kept the Poké Flute with me, is this like a little combo we could do? Grumpy could rest to go to sleep. Then the next turn I could play the Poké Flute and wake Grumpy back up, and that's why he's always so grumpy. You know? Because now he's just going to slowly get hit while he's asleep. Grumpy woke up, there we go. Perfect. Grumpy's still confused. He's confused about why he was asleep for so long. Yeah, maybe there's a weird kind of sort of meta there of putting himself to sleep and waking him back up and stuff. Not sure. Not sure. Like, it takes a whole extra turn and stuff, but that being said, you know, he's got to wake up one way or another. Alright, don't go on any warp tiles, we'll get ourselves completely lost. Nothing should be, like, unwarpable. Everything should just be able to be warped through with, now that we've got the card key. With the sole exception of the actual top of the tower here, where Giovanni is. That's the only thing that we actually should need to warp our way to. Nice, Grumpy gets the level. Voltorb, here we go, self-destruct time. Look at that, Tackle was a critical hit. Magneton, don't think Magneton has self-destruct. Thundershock though, that'll do a decent bit of damage. Yeah. And Grumpy's almost out of PP on Headbutt, which is like real annoying. because he's got like next to no moves he can do now. Plus his health's getting down, so unfortunately that's the end of Grumpy's battling for the time being. I mean, part of me wants to just leave here constantly and just keep healing up just to restore Grumpy's PP. Alright, you can take out the Zubat. Not if you're going to get confused, you can't. Ah, there we go. Okay, we can go through those doors. Nice, we've got a TM. Don't remember what that TM is. Ah, it's self-destruct! Whoops, I was gonna just see who can learn that. Yeah, so it's Grumpy. Grumpy can learn self-destruct. That's funny. Anything else in here? Nope, it's just you. Alright. Hippo's probably the best one to send out against someone using Disable, because Hippo's actually got 4 damaging moves. I mean, Bubble's hardly a damaging move, but you know, if any of Hippo's moves get disabled, then there's actually no problems. Wheezing, I think you're too low level to self-destruct, so there's no problems here. Hippo is a little bit more fragile than Popeye. I don't know how much damage you take from a self-destruct, but it would be some. But I'm pretty sure Koga's Wheezing was like level 43 or something, and at that point Koga's Wheezing knew self-destruct, but his earlier coughings didn't, so I'm pretty sure these are just way too low level. And there's the Wheezing. Still on level 26 though. You've got 2 headbutts in you. I sort of almost want to try it. But we're not gonna. Too cautious now. Look at that, that tackle was a critical hit. Anything can happen. Nice, Hippo gets a level. Alright, so that's this whole floor done, I think. There's that warp tile there, but we're not going to take it. Because wherever it goes, we can get there just by going up the stairs. Alright, this might be the last floor we do, and we call it a night. We'll clear out everything on this floor, and that will have to do us. Oh yeah, I've just remembered, there's someone up the top of the tower here that heals us. Okay, I'll look into that for next time. We won't do that right now, we might just come out and heal the natural way. But, Yeah, there's someone way up the top that just heals us when we talk to them. So we could always just run there. That would be quicker than running out of the tower constantly. Alright, that was one more level for Grumpy. Okay, we could send you out against a Hypno. Get put right back to sleep. That'd be funny. Whoops, there's that accidentally using Bubble Beam again. That's fine, we'll just give it one more Bubble Beam. Good old fail whip. Haven't had one of those in a long time. A tail whip, but it failed. Okay. You're not actually anyone. That's fine. Let's go through here. I feel like that warp tile is an important one. I have in my mind that that one leads to the end. That's the one that leads to the top. Or at least the one that leads to the one that leads to the top or something. Like, I feel like that one's important. Oh, Electrode, please no self-destructing. And for that reason I'm just going to send out Popeye because I'm scared. Hippo's slightly damaged. See, this is how it started last time. The Sonic Boom followed by the self-destruct. Whoa, missed with the low kick. Was not expecting that. And wheezing. Alright, let's get Grumpy back out there and dice death again. I know you don't have self-destruct that level, so happy to send Hippo out. Okay. I think that's everyone on this level. And if it is, we'll have to call it here. Yep. And I think this is just another warp tile up here as well. What I am going to do, even though I said I wasn't going to go on any of these warp tiles, I am going to step on that one here that I'm just a little sus about. This is the one that I think is important. Yep. That's the one that takes us to the end. There's the rival. There's Skeeves waiting for us. So we are going to just nope our way right out of there. We don't want to accidentally go in that. Because we are not ready for that yet. So we will just duck back to the Pokemon Center, heal up, and call it there for this session. We've only been going 2 hours 15, but that will have to do us for this one. Literally right in the way. I think we've done well. We got past Koga. We grabbed ourselves Grumpy. We're sitting in a reasonable position. We just need to get Grumpy leveled up a little bit more. Have a quick peek of his stats again. Yeah, it's only level 33. Yep. Now, let's get him leveled up a bit more so that he's up in the 40s, like Hippo and Popeye, and sitting in a bit better of a chance to try and take on Sabrina. So let us do the save there. And let me call it for this session. Thank you everyone for watching, for your suggestions on names for Grumpy, for your suggestions on the fact to even catch Grumpy in the first place, and all the others that we will contemplate adding to our roster in due time. We're slowly approaching the end of the game. We're certainly not there yet. We've got a ways to get there, and it's going to involve some grinding, some level grinding, just to get people up high enough to hold their own against the Elite Four. But things are starting to take shape, I think. So with that, thank you everyone. I will catch you all in the next stream. Bye-bye.